a sub 1 second draw from appendix is really not that hard. It's just really not. Provided that the gun and holster combo is set up correctly, okay? All right, so that's ride height and cant. Talked a little bit about the body built on the oval. I got some notes on my phone here, guys, so I'm not on Facebook much while we're here, but you know, we got to check our updates, right? So let's talk a little bit about body shape. I've talked about body type a little bit. So let's say you're a guy like I've always wanted to be, you know, big muscular with six-pack abs. Well, that becomes, interestingly enough, hard or easy to conceal a holster on, right? And that really comes down to shirt fit. If you're Paul Sharp and you wear a medium shirt all the time that looks like this, well, you know, that may not be the best choice for concealing a gun. If you're like me and have a little bit of soft around the midsection, you may need a longer length gun so that it doesn't push out, or as you'll get a holster from us, you'll have the foam wedges that attach to the Velcro that push the bottom of the muzzle out a little bit to help conceal the top of the gun. If you're more of a pear shape, appendix can be really easy because now you've got your body working with you to help tuck the top of the gun into the body and push the muzzle out. Piece of cake. If you're the one body type that appendix does not work well for are the guys that have the real round belly, right? Well, now the gun is already at a real steep inward angle. And, you know, some of those guys can make that work, and some of them can't. And for those guys, I recommend strong side carry because there's nothing wrong with strong side carry. There's not. Yes, I'm an appendix fan, but there's nothing wrong with carrying a gun strong side. I did it for a number of years. Yes, I believe there are advantages to carrying the gun appendix, but that's all limited to your body type, okay? So there's some of the body types to think about. Holster width can be a really big deal for people. And what I mean by width is this dimension here, okay? From basically the top of the slide to the bottom of the dust cover or rail, right? The wider that is, the less room you have for the holster to be between the crease in the leg and the important part in the middle, right? So if you get a holster similar to this, right, that's quite a bit wider than ours. Well, that may work and it may not work depending on the ride height of the holster and the length of the waist of your pants, okay? This is one of our Beretta holsters, and with the Berettas, they're just a little wider than the Glocks. That's just the way that works out. So it might work for some people, it might not work for other people, okay? So that's what I'm talking about in holster width. O'clock on the belt, basically what I'm trying to talk about is where the gun sets. If you think of your belt as a clock, right? 12 o'clock being the center, 1 o'clock, etc., on around. For right-handed shooter, what I have found typically works best, or at least is a good starting point, is if you will align the slide of the gun with your dominant eye or your right eye if you're cross dominant and you're carrying right-handed, okay? That's a really good starting place. That may not work for everybody, so feel free to move the gun around to try and find the exact spot of clock that will work with your body. All right, belt tension. I just got a brand new belt and I'm absolutely in love with it. It's called the Foundation. They're live on Langdon Tactical right now. My good buddy Brian Eastridge is the manufacturer of those. We've worked together a bunch on it, and it so far is the belt that I have found for appendix carry. But beyond that, you need a belt that is infinitely adjustable. Infinitely adjustable. If you're carrying a leather, a traditional leather gun belt, the holes on the belt are typically 1 inch spaced. Some of them are 3/4, but that's pretty rare, all right? What that means is the belt tension will either be too loose or too tight. The vast majority of the time. Yeah, you may luck out and it may be, exactly the perfect size, but I don't know about you guys, but I, based on my hydration levels, will need to adjust my belt through the course of the day, right? Based on how much hydration I have, okay? So if you don't have that capability, it can be tough to conceal a gun appendix. So let's do just a little bit of a demo. This is about the belt tension that I walk around with right now. It's maybe just a tad loose, okay? And you can see I've got a piece of Under Armour on and my gun just disappears. I'm gonna loosen my belt a finger's width. That's a little less than 5/8 of an inch and a little more than a half. I want you to watch this. That's a finger's width, okay? And what do you see now of the gun? Okay? Who would have ever thought a finger's width of belt tension would make the difference between the gun printing or not printing? I sure didn't when I started this, because I was wearing a traditional leather belt, and I couldn't understand why it printed sometimes and didn't print until I got to really thinking about it and digging into this, and I realized, okay, well that's a belt tension issue, right? So now let's fix that. Let's take this infinitely adjustable belt. We'll adjust it up just a little bit past. This is a little better, and the gun just disappears, right? So that belt tension is key. Okay. One of the things I really love about this belt, because I'm a big guy, right? So I require more belt tension than most people will, right? The thing I love about this belt is it doesn't kill my back. So that is a huge deal. Belt tension is huge. The other thing you can do with that, if you're in a car driving and you want to, I didn't have to, but if you want to, you can reach down and loosen the belt up and get a little more comfort as you drive. The cool thing about that is you got a gun on, because your car isn't a holster. Thank you so much. The car is not a holster. It just irritates me to no end when I see, what I do, I take my gun out of the holster and I put it on a magnet underneath my dashboard, and I'm like, have you not thought this through? That's just a really, really bad idea. So I know a firearms trainer that has been in 2 lethal force encounters. The thugs got their guns from cars. Okay? So please keep that in mind.